Hey, how you doing? My name is Ryan, and today I'm building and reviewing the LEGO Marvel Eternal sets. We've had a really weird path to get here. The sets leaked about a year ago in LEGO Magazine, then they were delayed indefinitely, and it wasn't until about a month ago did we actually find out when these sets were coming out. But now we're here. Was it worth the wait? Only one way to find out. We have 4 sets to build today, and up first is the Eternals Aerial Assault. 133 pieces and includes 2 figures, Sprite and Icarus. Let's get building. So yeah, this set is fine. I really didn't have high expectations for it because it's only about a few pieces away from being a polybag. The Deviant itself has a nice color and spindly build. The wings are a bit flimsy, but the iridescent spikes are a nice touch. But let's be honest, the main draw of this set, and arguably the entire wave, is the minifigures. And for the most part, they don't disappoint. The detail print work on both the torso and legs are incredible. The torso artwork is especially well done. Now, the faces of both Icarus and Sprite aren't exclusive, but I'm kind of okay with that, considering the effort they put into the rest of the figure. Sprite uses the new young Hermione face, which is fine, and Icarus uses the face print of Cedric Diggory, young Han Solo, and Endgame Hawkeye, which is a bit less excusable considering how often that face print's used. Truth be told, I think Aerial Assault might have actually worked better as a polybag and not a $10 set, and I think my argument is only bolstered by the next set. Deviant Ambush. 197 pieces and 3 figures, Thena, Makurai, and Gilgamesh. Only 60 pieces more than the previous set, but more than double the price. I'm not sure that math really works out, but I've been dinged before for using price to part ratio as a metric for grading sets. So I'll put my biases aside and let's get building. So the set is done, and the conceit of it is identical to the previous one. Conceptually, they're the same. Deviant build, figures to fight it, and it screams lack of creativity on LEGO's part. I really think you could have combined these 2 sets together, maybe add 1 more figure or take 1 away, and make it like $40. Or, better yet, remove 1 figure from the previous set, Aerial Assault, make it a polybag, and add that 1 figure to the Deviant Ambush. Instead, LEGO opted for 2 sets, 1 at 10, 1 at 25, but piece count wise they're so similar, I'm just not sure it was the right move. But for the set we got, it's fine. Again, the colors are great on the Deviant build and the structure is fine. There's a good amount of mobility and posability with this creature, but I can't say I don't see myself scrapping both these Deviants for parts in the end. The figures again are great. The artwork on the torso and legs is just incredible looking, and we even get a new face print for Gilgamesh. The other 2 figures have reused heads, but I think they're not as recognizable as the first set. Thena uses Bellatrix Lestrange's face, and Makurai uses MJ's face from Spider-Man. While in the end I don't agree with this set on a conceptual level, I think for what we got, it does the job and does it pretty darn well. Up next is in Erisham Shadow. 493 pieces and includes 4 figures, Ajax, Kingo, Icarus, and Circe. This set is probably my most anticipated of the wave, so fingers crossed it's good. Let's get building. is done, and this is the kind of build I wanted from the Eternals wave. Giant cosmic creature build that towers over the minifigures. The Celestial also has an interesting build mechanic where it can't really stand by its own two legs, so LEGO opted for these large dish bases and Technic platforms behind the real legs. I think the illusion works from the right angle. Personally, I want to mount this giant creature on my minifigure board, so we'll see how that goes. I think it'll work, but maybe it might be a bit too heavy. The Deviant build here is kind of a waste. It's small, fragile, and useless in this set. These pieces could have and should have gone towards the Celestial. Not that it needs it, but it would never hurt to have more pieces to build with. The figures again are great, but they are balanced out by a large, unique, and pretty awesome looking build, so they don't stand out as much, but they still look quite nice. Kingo and Ajax get new face prints, and I especially love the smirk on Kingo's alternate head. Cersei gets a pretty common face print used on Betty Brant, Tina Goldstein, Monica from Friends, and even Shang-Chi's Katie. It might be time to retire this face print from Marvel figures, considering it's already pretty well used, and it was used in a recent Marvel character. Icarus is identical to the Aerial Assault figure, so not much to say here. I'm definitely much happier with this set than the previous two, but I also paid more for it, so you get what you pay for. And the final set of the wave is Rise of the Domo, 1,040 pieces and includes 6 figures: Phaetos, Macarai, Druig, Cersei, Thena, and Icarus. Let's get building! The set is done, and I feel like this might be a better conceptual set than it is in execution. And given the critical scores for the Eternals movie, might be the case there too. Great ideas, but kind of lackluster execution. The design of the ship is really wonderful. Something about the simplicity of the shapes make the Domo feel ancient and alien. The silhouette is great, and I think the ship will look really nice mounted on a wall. And the idea of how it flips open is nice, but it leads to an incredibly cramped interior. When the Domo is all closed up, the main hull of the ship is almost unusable, and figures really only fit into about 2 places. Now, the obvious answer would be, well, just make the ship bigger, and we'll get to that in a little bit. The added touches of the coffee machine, mini celestial, and golden crafting tower are good additions, but in the end, they only fill space in an already cramped ship interior. This would be a bit more forgivable if the Domo were, say, the same size as the new Benatar, but for now, it seems like only Star Wars has really nailed the balance of ship size and interior space. As for the figures, only 2 are exclusive here, Druig and Phastos, and only the latter of which gets a new face print. Druig uses a face print I've seen too many times recently: Happy Hogan, Draco Malfoy, and Shang-Chi. Again, I think it's time to retire this face print from Marvel figures. I'm not saying we need a new exclusive face for every new hero, but maybe just not using the same 3 or 4 every single time. Icarus, Cersei, Thena, and Macarai are all repeats from their other sets. Not sure why we needed 3 Icaruses, but here we are. Did I mention this set has deviants? Because I wanted that fact to be as tacked on as the deviant builds are to this set. Seriously, I cannot see the justification for adding 2 more deviants to this wave, and these 2 look like slight variations of the other deviants from the earlier sets. They're useless here, and again, should have been scrapped. We didn't need this many deviant creature builds, and now it kind of feels like overcompensation for an underdeveloped villain. More does not always equal better. And while the Celestial could have benefited from more pieces, I think the Domo needs these pieces to improve the balance of size and play space. It's a shame that LEGO felt the need to drown this wave of Eternal sets with fragile and often uninteresting Deviant builds. Even while building these creatures, I thought to myself, I can't wait to scrap these for more pieces. So overall, the Eternals wave is kind of a letdown. I'm glad I have all the figures, and I love the Celestial build the more I look at it, but I think one more conceptual pass at this wave would have really helped. Combining the two smaller sets together to make your Deviant battle pack, making the smaller one perhaps even a polybag, scrapping the other Deviant builds, and reallocating those pieces towards the Celestial and the Domo. I think that was the way to go, but alas, here we are with a wave that doesn't quite live up to its potential. The figures are the only consistent quality here, with the torso and leg prints being the best feature. The majority of faces are understandably reused prints, which is par for the course, but some faces are those pesky ubiquitous prints you see everywhere, and it comes off as lazy. But what do you think of the LEGO Eternal sets? What about the movie? Let me know in the comments below, and if you haven't done so yet, be sure to vote for the art kit on LEGO Ideas, linked in the description below, and if you have voted, check out the LEGO art kit Instagram as well. And as always, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.